Alright, here. I grabbed 3 more plants. Because it's more interesting than skull and bones here anyway. So, my goodness, I'm really realizing how tall that is when I put it on my desk. Holy crap. Whoa. My headphones got a little bit smaller there. Also, multitasking too with building the opening cutscene that leads towards the first major boss fight of Chapter 3. Nice. Try to make it as cinematic as you possibly can. Yeah, make it all cool and stuff. But yeah, you'd love to see here. Alright, so in terms of stuff that you brought me here. Here's one of the okra, the tallest one. This thing is... it really likes to get tall, it seems like. So it's still just on, like, its initial 2 leaves that I forget what that's officially called in plant terms, but the ones that it has, like, in the seed that it grows there. It is just now starting to develop its first true leaf you can see growing in the middle there. So it's had these 2 initial starting leaves for a little while, but now it's getting its first true leaf there. And it is tall. It is very tall here. Well, the sprout is just the initial plant. Like, the initial leaves are called, I think it was cotyledon, now that I think about it. I might be wrong about that, but I think that it was that. But these are the leaves that it has, like, inside the seed that aren't its true leaves. Like, the rest of its leaves are not going to look like this. It's going to look like whatever the true leaves of okra look like. Which, again, it's just now getting the very first true leaf that's growing right in the middle there. And then eventually when it has enough true leaves, it'll drop these because it won't need them anymore. Like, that's happened with a lot of my tomatoes at this point. So that's my tallest okra there, and a big pot that it can grow into. Here's another one of the things that you brought me, Guzma. You brought me hot cayenne peppers. Here's one of them. I planted 6, I sprouted 3, which isn't half bad here. So here's one of them. It's, so these were like the first 2 leaves that it had inside the seed. It already has, as you can see, like 2 true leaves there. My biggest one, that was in a bigger pot, so I left it in the thing there in my room because it was a little bit much to be carrying this much at once. It's starting to develop the next couple leaves. Is this one starting to? It's just barely starting to at the bottom to develop the next set of leaves, it looks like. But yeah, so this is a cayenne pepper that you brought me from Louisiana and stuff. Never seen the progress of growing okra before, even though you cut at least 50 to 100 okra 4 days a week. So this is the first time and you're amazed. Yeah. So this is cayenne peppers here. This is with the same metallic filament that I've been printing the casing for my hidden blade print out of. Like, it's the same filament here, because I thought that might look kind of cool for one of my dragon scale pots. So yeah, that's the cayenne pepper. And yeah, that's what okra looks like initially. It's probably going to look very different once it starts exploding with a lot of its true leaves, but that's what it looks like for now. And then the thing that you can see, like, just barely on the edge of the screen here, is my tallest apple tree currently. So these things are only like 2 months old. They first germinated in December, I believe. This is my tallest one. This is another one of the red kinds. I color-coded them by pot so I know which one is which. This is another one from the red flesh tree. As you can see, there's no red leaves or anything like that. If I move the okra here, I believe there's some red parts of the stem. Like, yeah, if you look at the stem, there are some red parts. So that one specific gene responsible for redness, you can see reflected in the stem and stuff here. But no red leaves. Like its sibling here is a little bit different there, with this one having the striking red and this one not. But yeah, a little bit of height difference there. I think this one isn't quite as tall as my tallest Haskap yet, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, like, if I do a height comparison here. And the Haskap is like 8 months old, the apple tree is like 2 months old. It's pretty darn close, actually, now that I look at it. It is very darn close. So these apple trees have just been growing like crazy. The Haskaps have been a lot slower. But these apple trees, the moment they came up, have just been like, phoom. I've been very amazed at how fast apple trees grow. I had never grown an apple tree before, so I had no idea. Here, let's put this one here. So that's my tallest one. And it's kind of crazy. It is very large there. I'll just put the okra here for now is what I'll do. I had ones in smaller pots I could have brought, but that was the tallest one. I kind of wanted to bring it, and then I'll put the cayenne pepper like there. Is what I can do. And then I'll bring them back to the green room later and stuff. But yeah, let's see here. Just realized something. One of the Tabasco bottles has cayenne on it. So if you want to know what cayenne peppers taste like, you can try the Tabasco one for. Okay. I'll consider that next time I'm out at the lake where we have the Tabasco sauce. There's a specific Tabasco that says cayenne garlic on it. Okay. I'll be intrigued to try it out. And yeah, I'll definitely try the cayenne peppers off of these plants when I have that. But yeah, both those lemon trees from when we went to Italy, they're lime trees actually. They're doing pretty good. I can bring one of them down. They've been put in some bigger pots that And I mean, again, it's more interesting than Skull and Bones probably, right? Is the case. They haven't been growing, like, on the top for a decent while now, ever since I repotted them, because they were probably like, ooh, a new pod, I have lots of space, so I've been probably working on, like, root development for a little while now. But yeah, I can grab my one of those. I have two of them, but I can grab the bigger one. It's more convenient to grab it. Like, be back. So they're not quite as easy to transport around anymore now in the bigger pots, but they're I have a decent bit of a lime tree going here now, is the case. But yeah, they were in these kind of ceramic pots for a long time that was like yay big and maybe yay tall, and I needed to repot them because a lot of their growth was kind of drying up as it was growing and not doing super well. So this was now about a year and 4 months old. I mean, fruit trees take trees in general take a really, really long time to grow. You plant something like a tomato and that'll grow super fast and it'll only last for the one season. You grow something like a tree and if you're starting it from seed, that'll probably take at least like half a decade to bear fruit. As a still relatively tiny tree. So yeah, I got these in October of 2022 was the trip. They sprouted in December 2022. So I guess actually a little bit younger than a year and 4 months. They're a little bit over a year old. Like a year and a couple months at this point is what they are. Like 2 or 3 months in addition. But yeah, they needed repotting because that pot wasn't doing it for them anymore. Of course, one day they'll eventually need a big pot when they're like a full-on tree. But yeah, here's this one here. This is my tallest one. It made this shoot of growth up here a little while back, where its leaves kind of got sadder and sadder as it went up. Like here's some of these that are curling and not doing super great, and like this one here that's basically fully curled that you can just barely see in here that isn't super great. And I was worried that like, oh, maybe it's not doing super well with its new growth there, considering, you know, stuff like that, or ones that you can see under there that's kind of curled and not doing super great. And it just kind of petered out at the top here. And then the whole top just basically exploded into like a whole separate tree up here. Like, this top is kind of really crazy right now. So, yeah, I do wish that it would get a little bit bushier around. As it grew up, it kind of went up and then became really bushy up here. I hope that at some point it'll become a little bit more bushy down here. It's still kind of settling into its new pot here. And, like, establishing its roots in there. It's probably really happy to have a big pot now. But yeah, this is one of my Italian lime trees that kind of got me into gardening in the first place. Because I brought some seeds home, just on a whim, just as like a fun kind of thing. Put them in the ground and started growing them and watching their progress. And I was like, wow, that's actually really fun and satisfying. And it's a really cool prospect that one day I'll have a lime tree that can never be planted here because it's too cold. It'll have to remain an indoor plant. But it's really cool fostering this and thinking that one day I'll have my own lime tree, be able to pick my own limes and say that I grew that from seed because I put in that work. So now I'm growing things like house caps, like apple trees, like these other long-term things that are going to last for decades and decades. And even single seasonal things like cayenne peppers and okra where I'd have to replant it each individual year. But yeah, my fruit trees and my fruit bush there in the case of the house caps will hopefully last for many decades. Hopefully they'll live a long, long time. I've helped a little bit with my Oma and Opa over the years with like their tomatoes and stuff, just like some light things there. I've been doing potatoes for a couple of years over at their place. Potatoes I've been doing for a little while. But in terms of like just growing a lot of things on my own time just for the fun of it, yeah, continuous Skurlockman ready. That started with this tree right here that was just a tiny little sprout. And it started growing up more and more, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I kind of like that. And now it's Now it's this tree here. And one day it'll be like some massive thing that'll be too big to even like show or anything like that. In some massive pot that can go outside in the summer, but will be inside during the winter. Sorry, Okra. I'm gonna put you on the ground back here for now. I'll be back into the plant room later. Clear a little bit of a space. I still have all these white question marks for question mark blocks to be glued on later. Onto various question mark blocks that I've been printing. Just move some stuff out of the way there. Yeah. Lime tree. Right there. Like that. So yeah, it's a pretty decent size now. It's been a long time since I've since I've shown them on stream. Because they're in really big, awkward pots to move around now. Is the case. It's no longer just a tiny little thing that I can move around. It's now that it's over a year old. But considering that my apple trees here are just 2 months old, and height-wise, oh my goodness. Yeah, if I match this up here, if I just like do this, holy crap. Like the lime tree is taller, but not by a lot. It's pretty darn close here. Seems like. My goodness gracious. I wonder why the apple trees grow so much faster here. I mean, the lime trees became a bit bushier as they went up. These apple trees are just like, let's just go straight up and make leaves along the way. Which is kind of interesting, and looking it up online, apparently it takes a good while before apple trees will make branches. They get like super tall before they do that. Which is interesting. But maybe they're also growing super fast because, like, yeah, I'm still playing. Because they figure, hey, I'm a tree for a cold climate. It's spring, it's time to grow. I need to grow as fast as I can so I'm ready and like established before winter hits. Is maybe the evolutionary reason for that. Maybe. Something that lime trees don't have to worry about. They don't know what winter is. They're not for this kind of climate. But yeah. So growing my own stuff is a lot more recent. I've been doing it since, I guess you could say, October of 2022 then. And now I'm a crazy plant maniac that is growing a whole lot of my own things. I do have some non-food plants. I have a couple at work that I just think are like really interesting plants, but not a lot. I only have 3 plants that aren't food things. Because at the end of the day, I just really love fruit for the most part. Like growing up, fruit has been like one of my favorite things. And I just think being able to grow and pick my own fruit would be awesome. Let's keep listening to this music as we go in here, I guess. So I would love to have a whole bunch of area where I'm picking like my own delicious things. And I think that the whole prospect of being able to pick like my own unique species is really cool. Like once these apples eventually bear fruit, and these will be like one-of-a-kind things. It seems like he's having fun over there. Maybe he should be tuning into this Minecraft remix with us. That's what he should do. You guys are hard to hear over the music, but the music's more interesting, so I'm fine with that. Whoa, what's going on there?
In this state, he couldn't steer a ship even if his dear old Margareta came calling. We're in a pickle now. If we don't deliver on the gig, Skurlock's reputation will be in tatters. If only there was someone skilled enough to pass as him and helm the ship.
Is that gonna be me? The Devil's Gambit. That sounds like a big culmination of things, so maybe I'll do that and then call it a night. I've actually gone on here a decent bit longer than I thought I would. Might I take Skurlock's place?
What are the odds? You look about Skurlock's size and disposition.
Do I?
But first, you'll need to unlock the part of the king. Here, take these spare guards from Skurlock's wardrobe. Maureen, spare game. Takes our wine, take his clothes. Once you're all dressed up, head out to where the ship's berthed. I'll make sure the crew's in on the plan. I made it to see.
What an amazing story here.
Before he sobers up, and don't fuck this up, or it'll be our heads that roll.
But yeah, I know, I just said that. The music's more interesting anyway. I equipped Skurlock's jacket, so I need to go change that here. But yeah, and I do appreciate you stopping by and hanging out though, GMK. Heading out here shortly. Hope you have a good rest of the night. I was not planning on going this long, but but this sounds very final confrontation-y for this section of the story, so I do kind of want to just see what happens. And then that'll probably be a good place to say, like, hey, I'm through with the Skull and Bones playthrough. Is it a set? Where is it? What? Jacket? This? I guess I gotta put on that, right? Wish I had, like, some special icon. I had the new icon. It said it was a new thing, and that's how I found it, but, remain within the contract area. Okay, out I go. But yeah, so I kind of like growing my own thingamabob from seed there, and now I'm growing like all sorts of my own fruits from seed. And some vegetables too. Mostly fruits. Mostly fruits. I think that fruit is awesome. And some vegetables too. It can be pretty awesome. Doing a smidge of that. But yeah, now I'm growing all sorts of my own stuff. Yeah, I'll just set sail from here. And yeah. I think that it'll be really cool one day to be able to be like, hey, here's all this fruit that I grew myself. Probably have like a whole lot of excess of it because you grow something like an apple tree and you get a lot from them to the point that a lot of people with apple trees like don't even use all their apples. So I wouldn't mind having like extra fruit to share and be like, hey, here's some extra fruit for family and friendos. And it's like my own unique species and stuff that I hope is really good. My other set of apple trees I know are a cross between a, like, well, not quite free because I have to put in a whole lot of labor and effort and stuff. But yeah, at least I don't have to go to the store and get it. And fruit can be pretty expensive at the store at times. I don't know where the bog iron is, but okay, I'll take that, I guess. But yeah, my other set of apple trees I know are a cross between a Prairie Sensation apple, which is the source fruit that they came with, most likely cross-pollinated with a Prairie Magic apple, since that's like the closest tree next to it that was planted there specifically as a cross-pollinator for that Prairie Sensation apple. And looking it up online, apparently no one's ever really seemed to cross those two trees before. So I guess I'm the first, like, crazy person that, like, or it could just not be documented, but there's a good chance I might be the first crazy person that crossed both of those species of apple. And they're both apple species that are bred, like, as they are, specifically for taste. They're both meant to be, like, good-tasting, nice apples. Which means that the combination between these two, these two nice, good-tasting apples should probably be pretty good, too, I would hope. So we'll see. But, like, what should I name it? Should I name it Prairie something or other as well to keep up, like, the name theming or something? Apparently Prairie Sensation and Prairie Magic are not remotely related from what I found online. Despite similar names stuff. And I have combined them. Color will it turn out to be? Those apples, both Prairie Sensation and Prairie Magic, are ones that are apparently like, greenish yellowish, but have red blush on them. So I imagine that the resultant hybrids will look something like that. These ones here, my 3 ones in the red pots, I don't know what species they are. Name it after yourself? Maybe, we'll see. We'll see how good their fruit is one day here, first and foremost. But these red ones, I have no idea what species they are. I have no clue. My, Prairie insert name here. I have thought about that, doing like Prairie Harmony or something. That could be kind of cool. I don't know. Tis an idea. Get like a Prairie Harmony apple. Something or other. Hi, what's going on here? Oh, I can't inspect you or anything. Swap ship? Oh, okay. Yeah, this seems like a finale kind of thing here. Should I switch to, my epic battle music? Because I need to go defeat Dudos for, Mr. Guy here, right? I need to plunder a thing. Hold on, let's pause. Where's my epic playlist? Here it is. Let's start with a Primal Dialga remix. Heck yeah. Turn stuff back on here. So yeah, yeah, I thought that was sounded not half bad. So that's an idea that I'm potentially leaning towards for my green ones. The crosses between those. But these ones, I have no idea what species these are. I have not a clue. They could be anything. And I have no idea what cross-pollinated them. So I have no idea what they're even hybrids of. I don't really know what I'm dealing with here. I think the red one's really cool. But, yeah, the apples that they came from, like I said before, had red flesh. And both the Prairie Sensation apples and these red-fleshed ones were given to me by my Oma's neighbor. And, is this game funny bad or unfun bad? Unfun bad. So we're just talking about plants because it's more interesting. Hope things are going well tonight, Gangster Samrat. Plants are cooler, so we're just chatting about that at whatever other opportunity. So yeah, I know what combination those ones are, but these ones I don't know. My Oma's neighbor gave them to me after I had asked her, like, earlier in the season, like, hey, I like growing interesting and new things. Do you mind if I have, like, some apples from your tree when they're ripe? And she said, sure. So later in the season, around September, when they were ready, she came to me with a bag with, like, a few apples from her tree. That was the Prairie Sensation ones. And she also gave me a couple red-fleshed ones. They were about, like, yay big. So they're a decent size. Prairie Sensation ones were, like, yay big, so they're a bit bigger. And she told me that they came from a friend's yard, those red-fleshed ones. And she was like, they have red flesh. They're red on the inside. It's really cool. I think you'll like them. I have no idea what species they're called, but, like, you can try those out as well if you think they're interesting. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what you mean by they're red on the inside, but I'll check it out. And I ate that. Also, X-Ray raiding with a party of 3 here. I appreciate the raid there, X-Ray. What were you just streaming? What was on the stream schedule for tonight? And welcome on in, since everybody from X-Ray streaming to stream. We're playing Skull and Bones, which is a little bit of a snore fest, but I'm just trying to showcase a little bit of it. So we're just talking about plants for now, because it's more interesting. And I'm talking about, like, my apple trees and stuff that I'm growing here, which are, like, my own unique new species that are crosses of different things. And so I don't know what the species that went into either variety that created this apple tree is. But yeah, night's going pretty alrighty here. We're just big chilling. So I've pulled out a whole bunch of my plants from my plant room and stuff here and just talking about them because, yeah, it's more interesting than the video game here. So we're just doing, like, a little bit of a plant chat before we do what I assume is, like, a boss battle here coming up and stuff. Just some Fortnite, no biggie. Hopefully got some good games in. Get any battle royales or victory royales or whatever the heck. I haven't played Fortnite in forever. Is the case there. I remember I played it on day 1 before they even had a battle royale, but long time ago. But yeah, I heard about that. I know that that's been memed to infinity. All right, we're just gonna keep on listening to the epic battle playlist, despite the fact that we're not going to the battle quite yet. Hold on, let me see if I can find my thingamabob here of the apples that these came from. Because again, I have no idea what the source apples that these came from were species-wise, and my Oma's neighbor who gave them to me had no idea what they were. And whatever pollinated them, who knows what. So I'll probably follow up sometime in spring and ask her, like, hey, now that it's warmer out, can you tell me, like, where this friend of yours lives? And can I go, like, knock on their door and ask, like, what species their apple tree is? And kind of look around the area in the neighborhood to see what the next closest apple tree is, to try and get an idea of what the most likely cross-pollinator for this is. Try and find out there, so I know what I'm dealing with. Yeah, I took one picture of the inside of the apple that this came from. Let's see here. I just sent it to myself. Whoa, let's Alt-Tab here. So, the apples that these came from, which I think are really cool, were like, if I go to Display Capture 2, like this, they were like this, is what they were. So, you cut into it or bite into it or whatever, and the flesh was red. And I'd never seen anything like it. I thought it was the coolest thing. And it was actually a really tasty apple as well. Like, it was pretty good. Like, yeah, isn't that crazy? So, yeah, apparently she had a friend that she knew had red-fleshed apples, and she knew that I liked growing cool, unique things, so she got me a couple from her friend's yard, because she thought I might like to try and grow them. And, yeah, I would like to grow them. So, yeah, it does almost there. So I'm really glad that she gave me those. That was really nice of her. So I got 2 of them. So it is possible that these seeds could have come from, like, 2 different fruits. I just seeded, like, them both and put all the seeds into a bag from, like, my 2 red ones that I had there. But yeah, that is the apple that has been, that or another one that looks exactly the same is what sprouted this. Yeah, it's kind of like a strawberry look, but it's an apple, is the case. And I'd never seen anything like it. Also, strawberries are another thing that I'm growing, but that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, I don't know what the species is. I don't know what cross-pollinated it. I did a little bit of research into it. My leading suspicion is Red Wonder. Like, that's my best guess based off of, like, red-fleshed apples that can grow here. On doing research into it, found out there's actually a lot of different red-fleshed apple varieties. There's none that you can just go buy in the grocery store or anything like that. But apparently there's actually a lot of different species of red-fleshed apples, as it turns out. So I couldn't really narrow it down to just one that says, like, it's specifically this because it has red flesh, because I have no idea. But my leading suspicion based off of like rough size and the fact that it's hardy to this area, is probably Red Wonder. But I don't know that for sure, so I have no idea what source apple this came from, and I have no idea what cross-pollinated it. Hopefully not like a crab apple or something like that. I probably wouldn't want to cross with a crab apple. So I'll follow up with my Oma's neighbor in spring and just ask her like, hey, like, do you mind if I go pay your friend a visit? Like, can you tell me where they're at? I can check out their tree and like maybe knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm growing apple trees that came from your tree. Can you tell me what species your apple tree is so I know what I'm dealing with? And do you know if there's any other apple trees in the area that would have cross-pollinated with so I know what hybrid I have? Most likely. Because yeah, I am glad that I know what hybrids I have for that other kind, but yeah, these ones are a little bit of a mystery. But I do know that the apple they came from has red flesh. That much I know. And that apparently from my research online, the gene responsible for making red flesh in the apples would be the same one responsible for making like red leaves in this one. Which I still think is really cool since I've never seen a tree do that. But apparently it's the same kind of thing where it's like in their genetic code, they're told to make a whole lot more of that. This one has a specific genetic makeup that told it to do so with the leaves as well, which I think is really cool and they're really pretty. And yeah, but my other two red ones aren't quite like that. And if they'll actually have red flesh, I don't know. It might depend on what cross-pollinated them. It might, like, I don't know if that's going to be a dominant gene or a recessive gene. I don't know what cross-pollinated it. Like, I don't know if it's going to inherit the traits of the red flesh or the flesh of whatever cross-pollinated it. Maybe it'll be different for each of my three. So maybe from these three red ones that I have, I'll maybe have some that have red flesh and some that don't. We'll see. So I'll grow all 7 of my apple trees across like the 4 prairie ones and the 4 mystery red ones. Until they're like a small size, around the size that you'd find at the grocery store for a tree, that is. And they're starting to get like their first couple fruits, and I'll try them out. I'll see which ones are the best. I'll see which ones of these ones potentially have red flesh. It'll be a several year process, and I'll decide which ones I like the best, and like maybe plant 1 or 2 of my favorites, and then I don't know, probably give away the rest of my apple trees. If any of them have like not so great apples, then maybe give them away to someone that just wants them like ornamentally, or in baking. You can probably always use the apples for like baking and stuff like that, even if you don't like them just fresh off the tree. But yeah, let's see here. Is the Chemex remix? This is actually a Calber remix, is what this one is. This is the Zinnia Calber remix here. But yeah, hope the strawberry one comes out. Say strawberry because it looks like one, but you know it's not a strawberry fusion. What, like the red flesh there? Want to see my actual seed-grown strawberry that I have right now? Okay, this has just turned into like plant time. Hold on, I'll be back in a second.